In this video, I'm gonna talk about the $997 event that changed my life. My name is Brian Mark, and I coach personal trainers how to run an online business. I didn't know what was gonna come from that $997 event where I was literally eating rotting food out of Tupperware containers. The reason I'm sharing this with you is you might be in a place right now where you don't have a lot of money. And I feel like when you don't have a lot of money, the worst thing that you can do is hold on to it and hope that your life is gonna get better. It's just not. So back in 2013, I had just overcome a drug addiction, and I had spent 6 months doing hard drugs, and after getting clean and sober for 3 months and basically cutting myself off from the outside world, when I came back into society and I was reintroduced to regular life, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And so I was working at a restaurant as a manager, just like working at a local pub, and during the day, and then I go home, wake up in the morning, go to the gym, and I just had this like schedule where I was kind of doing the same thing every day: gym, work, home, sleep. And I wanted to do something with my life, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And so one of my friends on Facebook invited me to this event. It was called the Higher Purpose Project. Higher Purpose Project, it was a 2-day event, and it was in Boston. I lived in Calgary. It was $997. It was a 2-day immersive experience where you basically go there, you get to meet and network with other high-level individuals that were chasing their dreams, that had passions, that were pursuing their purpose in life. And so for me at the time, I was lost. I didn't really know what to do. So I was like, why not? But the problem was that because I had just spent 6 months as an addict, and I basically, for the 3 months that I got clean, I was paying off all my debts that I accumulated while I was an addict. I didn't have any money. And I literally had $1,300 in my bank account. Now, the ticket for the event was $997, which would mean that I would have $300 left, and I had 2 weeks until I got paid. And so I remember sitting there and I was like, I feel like I need to go to this event, but I'm like, I don't have the money to do it. So I was like, I'm gonna try to figure out a way. So I bought the event ticket, which means that my bank account was sitting at $300.
I can't eat! I'm broke!
And so I was like, okay, how am I gonna get to Boston? I didn't have a car. My car got repossessed when I was an addict. I don't have a car, so I'm gonna look at flights. So I remember looking up flights, and when I looked up flights, they were expensive. They were like $1,500. So I was like, okay, I can't take a flight. I'm like, I can't drive, can't take a flight. So I was like, I'm gonna look at bus tickets. Looked up Greyhound bus tickets, and I found a Greyhound bus ticket that was $150. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do that. So I bought the Greyhound bus ticket. It was $150, which meant that I had $150 left in my bank account. So with $150 in my bank account, I was like, okay, it would take me 3 days to get across Canada on the Greyhound bus. Then it was a 2-day event, and then it was 3 days back. So I'm like, I had to plan for 7 days. So I was like, I can't eat out every day with $150. There's no way. And so what I did is I went to the grocery store. I bought ground beef, rice, and frozen vegetables. I spent about $50 on it, and I cooked up enough meals to last me 4 days. Now this is gonna sound extreme, but it is, because I didn't have the money to afford a cooler. So I literally put these ground beef, rice, and vegetable in a grocery bag, and I took the grocery bag with me on the Greyhound bus. Now the meals were good for the first 24 hours. By the 48th hour, they started to taste bad, and by the 72nd hour, like by day 3, they were like straight up rotting, but I was eating them because it's all I had. And then went to the event, and at the event, it was like literally all the food was included. It was amazing. And at that event, man, I like met so many high level people. And I remember meeting this one guy that actually got me really inspired to set goals. There was this guy that was there that met Neil Armstrong. He decided he wanted to spend his, he's like, I'm going to meet the man that like walked on the moon. Like I'm gonna meet the guy that went to the moon. And so he wrote down this intention that he wanted to meet Neil Armstrong. That was literally his life intention. His life goal is to meet Neil Armstrong. And he spent the next 2 years going to events and trying to find him and going to different places. And eventually he ended up getting in the room with Neil Armstrong, and he sat down and he had lunch with Neil Armstrong because he set the intention. I just thought that idea was really cool, and it inspired me to start setting my goals. And so at the end of the 2-day event, I took the Greyhound bus back, and I didn't just come back with no money, which is true. I did come back with no money. I literally had nothing left. I came back with an idea, and the idea was like, I'm gonna start my online business. And so I came back, I got a notepad. It was actually very similar to this. It was red though. And in this red notepad, I wrote down all the goals that I wanted to accomplish. I wrote down that I wanted to start my online business, and that I wanted to start taking my fitness goals seriously again, and that I wanted to start getting committed to just like building this online thing. And that event was the catalyst that really sparked the upward swing, and I started really making progress towards my goals. I registered for a fitness competition after I got back from that event. It was 6 months into the future, which gave me something to shoot for. I started setting goals on a weekly basis and reviewing those goals so that I could start to work towards something. That event really did change my life in a lot of ways, and nothing will ever, ever, ever substitute the idea of investing in yourself. Nothing. Because when you actually invest in yourself and you are willing to bet on yourself, like I didn't know what was gonna come of that, but I knew my friend that recommended me was a high level person, and I knew that by going to that event, I'd be around high level people. So I literally spent money that I didn't have, and I traveled there, and I figured out a way to find my expenses for travel, for food, for all of it, because at the end of the day, when you want something bad enough, you always find a way. But most people don't want it bad enough, and so they find an excuse. I don't have the money, I can't go to the event, I can't invest in myself, I can't hire the mentor. You can watch all the YouTube videos, you can listen to all the podcasts, you can read all the Instagram posts that you want. Nothing will ever substitute the value that comes from investing in yourself. And that $997 event really did change my life. It catapulted my life in ways that I can't even begin to describe. And now I'm living in a 6,500 square foot mansion, making millions of dollars a year, driving my Lamborghini. I own a 20,000 square foot gym, and it's all came because I was willing to make that investment in myself. And it started with a $997 investment, and then I hired a mentor that cost me 10 grand. Then I hired one that cost me 25 for the year. Then I hired one that cost me 60 for the year. And my last mentor, Bedros Keuilian, cost me $100,000 USD for the year. And that constant willingness to invest in myself is why I keep growing, because when I put my own money on the line, and at first it was money I didn't have, it forced me to find something in myself that I couldn't see when I was holding onto my money. You know, I was willing to release that money and throw it out into the universe and take a chance on myself so that I could learn how to get more of it back. And I think that experience really taught me so much more than I can even begin to describe and put into words. So if you're in a place right now where you feel like you don't have money to invest in yourself, you are the exact fucking person that needs to be investing in yourself. And if you're listening to this and you're in a place right now where you're actually doing pretty good and you're doing decent, fucking invest in yourself and find the next level of the mentorship program that you can invest in so that you can continue to take your life to the next level, because you will never get to the destination that you want to get to by holding on to what you currently have. You need to release it, invest in yourself, and trust in the process, and I promise you're gonna grow. Hopefully this video is valuable. Hopefully you got something from it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you soon.